Today, we are going to see how we are building an AI agent for a home service business based on real data from real calls that customer did with that business in the last 30 days. Now, the problem with most of the tutorials that I saw in YouTube is that they are starting with something like write a prompt for a friendly voice AI agent that should schedule appointment from leads that coming through the website. Now, the problem with that is that this prompt will return us a pretty solid prompt. As we can see here, we can see conversational flow, greeting, we can see engagement and qualification, and then we see all the process of how to schedule the appointment. Now, the only problem with that is this is probably going to work, but this is probably going to work with the perfect client that will call and say, "Hi, my name is Dora and want to schedule for tomorrow or for next Tuesday at 3 p.m." The problem is going to be if is that specifically for the business I'm going to work for here, they have specific slots that they are going to schedule appointment for. They're scheduling it from 9 to 11, from 11 to 1, from 1 to 3. They can schedule on 2 p.m., for example. Now, ChatGPT will not be able to know that, and either do us, because we don't know what is the SOPs, what is the processes of the business. Now, if this business going to have an SOP, a document that define all the edge scenarios and what going on within these calls, then we'll be able to work with that. But unfortunately, this business and most of the other businesses that I worked with doesn't have these SOPs, and the knowledge is like kind of accumulated in the service team. And the problem with that, obviously, is that we can't mimic that without researching and try to query the team leader and doing a long discovery sessions with them, which obviously adding friction to the process. So we want to eliminate this process. We want to avoid this generic prompt. And the way we are going to do that is to use their real calls with customers over the last 30 days, um, analyze them, build out of the analyzed data, structured data that we'll be able to analyze later using AI, and build out of that a database or kind of a guidelines for our new agent, how he should perform and what going to be the edge scenarios that he will need to mitigate with. So let's start with with the first stage, which is here we have a sample, but I downloaded from their CRM. Their CRM is GoHighLevel. I downloaded from their CRM a list of all the calls that they perform in the last 30 days. And here we have only 13, obviously, but they have a few hundreds. So I'm not going to analyze few hundreds in this video, but this is the process that I did in background. So here we have in Google Drive all their calls from the last 30 days. And here we have an n8n workflow that going to this folder in Google Drive, download the MP3 file, go through transcribe audio in OpenAI in order to generate transcripts from the audio files, then run it through a basic LLM node that analyze what was like summarize the conversation, what was the main points in the conversation, define what was the action, whether they call to schedule, to reschedule, to cancel an appointment, what was the scenario there in this call, and also what was the result, whether it was a success, whether it was a failure, whether they asked to call later, maybe they arrived to a voicemail and then they had to leave a message. Also, we can analyze what was the common message that they left that lead later to call back. So all this data is going to be analyzed based on this node. I'll show you later what's going on, what is the prompt in this node. And later on, we add a row for each file. For each call, we are going to add a row to our Google Sheet, which is this. And this Google Sheet going to include, as we said, the file name that we analyzed, the call name, the action, what was the reason for the call, what was the result, a summary, the summary of the call, and the transcript. And later we'll be able to analyze it using Claude or ChatGPT in order to get the insights from the real calls. So meanwhile, we are talking, let's execute this workflow to show how it's going to work. So it's get the files. We have 5 files. We are going to iterate it multiple times. It goes through OpenAI here. So meanwhile, I'll open this. So we can see it's getting the data, each files here. Then it's download it. As we can see here, we have a binary. Then it's transcribe it, run it through the basic LLM, and adding a row for each call. So you can see this is the transcript, this is the file name, this is the action, and this is the result. Let's run it multiple times. Now we can see the last stage, it's moving the file to another folder to avoid duplications. So here we have the files that already processed, and here are the files that we are processing. Okay, so I pause the video, I run it, and then we have all the information here. So as you can see, we have here 13 calls. We see exactly what is the action, whether it was schedule an appointment, follow up for a service, schedule another appointment, follow up, what was the result, whether it was a success, whether it was a call me later, whether it was failure or a voicemail. So after we finish that, what we can do is we can take all this table, go to Claude, paste this table, and ask Claude to write the prompt. We can prompt Claude in order that it will get us all the scenarios that we are looking for. So let's see how it looks. So I'm asking to analyze the data and build a table to describe actually the edge scenarios we have based on these calls. And when I run it, I'll give it time to run. And we are getting a table of all our scenarios and on which calls it's happened. Obviously, we can improve that. We can say, what is the probability of this scenario? If it's something that happened only one time out of 500 calls, we don't want to include that. But if it's something that is common, we can include that. So here we can see the regulars. Customer asked to call back later, a voicemail, a screening assistant. That is very common in the US. Customer is not interested. Customer not interested, but brief. Let's see what is brief. Okay, it's the same as cold. Customer asked for details, so we need to know that we want to let our agent to have a knowledge base about what is the services of the company. Okay, this is interesting. Customer only available on weekends, and we know that we doesn't work on weekends. We work between Monday to Friday. So this is a very important edge case that we want to train our model, our agent to mitigate. For example, we want to offer or to try to push the customer to the weekdays. We want to let the customer know that we are very flex. We are able to start from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. in our scenario. So this is something we definitely would like to take into account. Um, Customer works evenings or no availability, the same as here. Customer unsure what service they need. Okay, so this is important. We want to train our agent to say, okay, you need to let the customer know that the specialist will come, and then he will estimate your situation and will be able to offer you what is the services that you need. Um, and as you can see, there is a lot of scenarios here that we can fetch out of these conversations. Obviously, this is a small sample, so we don't see a lot of occurrence of this of each one of them. But only from 13 calls, we can see edge scenarios that our AI agent might face. And for example, if we will not teach the AI agent how to work with customers that want weekdays, or how to lead them in order to close during the week, it's going to be actually a failure with the customer. Also, I see a customer that out of service, remote location. So we have a lot of information that we can gather out of it. So that was, and obviously that this table is something that we can come to back to ChatGPT. Let's take this. We can go to ChatGPT and now say include these scenarios in your prompt. Now ChatGPT will be much more smarter and will be able to build us much better agent based on the information that we just feed in. So that was in 10 minutes how we built a much more efficient AI agent that will be able to mitigate with real customers. And if you're looking to build one of these for your business, send me a message. You can find my LinkedIn, you can find my website here in the comments, and we will be more than happy to work together. That's it. Good luck for everyone, and have a wonderful week.